everybody, and welcome to Wild Wednesday. I'm Dr. Portia Rawls. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist, and on the month of August we've been dealing with disappointment. Usually every month I pick a theme to blog about, and for this month it's disappointment. So before I get started, for those of you who may have tuned in to me, I'm just asking, just tell your friends, family, your followers, anybody else you would like to reach out to just come join us. And just going to talk to you for a few minutes today about another aspect of disappointment, which I think is very important. So today's topic is moving from disappointment to possibilities, or from disappointment to opportunity. So as I began to think about that, and I was saying, okay, how do you actually do that? Because a lot of times we hear these wonderful catchphrases, moving from disappointment to possibilities, but then we say, okay, that sounds great and wonderful, but how do I actually make that happen in my life? Well, the first thing that you need to do is recognize you're going to deal with the feeling of disappointment and sadness. There's going to be times when your expectations are not met. And typically as human beings, the way we respond to that is with sadness and disappointment. So the first thing is to prepare yourself to realize that's going to happen. It's just a fact of life. I wish it didn't happen. I wish I hadn't to partake of it. I mean, recently, even over this weekend, I had to deal with some disappointment. But first of all, that's the first step. Second step is, okay, what kind of strategy, how am I going to handle when I feel disappointed and when I feel sad? You need to come up with a strategy beforehand. The worst thing in the world to try to do is deal with a crisis in the middle of the crisis. You're going to have to come up with, how am I going to deal with my disappointment? What am I going to do? Am I going to go for a walk? Am I going to remind myself of the times that things worked out? Am I going to look at this and say, hey, what good can come out of this? What is going to be your strategy for disappointment? And the third thing is it's actually thinking about what good can come out of this time or this moment of disappointment. What positive can come out of it? How can I grow? How can I mature? How can I become a better person? How can things in my life become better? What is there to learn out of this situation that's going to make me better? And even as I'm talking, I'm outside and the jets are flying over, so we're going to just let them fly over. The wonderful thing about being here in the ocean front is that you have a beautiful beach, but the bad thing is about you have jets you have to deal with. So, and something, so we're going to just let them fly over, all right? For those of you who are in the military or related to someone in the military, we call that the sound of freedom, okay? But that's what we call it here in our area for being in a military town. But going back to disappointment, that third thing, what is the positive that can come out of this? What can I learn? How can I grow? What upgrade in my personality? What upgrade in my emotions? What upgrade in my perspective about life and about how I think about things can come out of this moment of disappointment? That is the third step to moving from disappointment to possibilities, because when you begin to ask yourself those questions, it really takes your focus away from how you're feeling, and you really start to take an intense, thorough examination of yourself and of your life, and it will shift you from a disappointment, from a time of sadness to actually, and sometimes a times of great relief, a time of happiness. And the fourth step is really just waiting to see what's going to come out of this, what good is going to come out. That's not what anything's going to come out. What good is going to come out of this time where my expectation was not met? And one of the things I like to also tell people to do, write that time down, journal it somewhere and keep it. And then when you finally understand, because a lot of times when we're dealing with disappointment and sadness, when our expectations have not been met, it's really about, it may not be the timing, it may not be the perfect place, it may not be the perfect way that we think it's going to work out a particular way, but right now it's not. So jot that down, because a lot of times when you go back and look at it, you're actually grateful that your expectation was not met. So before the jets get too close, I'm Dr. Portia Rawls. Check me out on my video blog. Check me out on drportiarawls.com. I thank you guys for listening to me and joining me, and I hope to talk to you again on Friday. God bless.